systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? I got my guy Ham. We're back for Week 18, the final week of the regular season. We got playoff implication on the line. Plenty of storylines, hoping my Packers can squeak through with a win against those woeful number one overall draft pick Chicago Bears later on this afternoon. But how much happy Sunday, man. How's your weekend? How you been? What's going on, brother?
Yeah. Happy Sunday. Last Sunday, regular season Sunday of the week. And we got one of the better games of the season, right? Winner gets the number 2 seed. Dolphins lose. They're the 5 seed. The Bills lose. They could potentially be home for the playoffs. So there's a lot riding on this game. Both teams are going to want to get this game because obviously you're guaranteed 2 home games with a win. You're guaranteed to go on the road with a loss or even be at home. So a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get right into it. We got a 48 total here. Miami, 3-point dogs here in this one. Obviously, the last matchup between these two back in week 4, right in Buffalo, was a 68-point total where Buffalo kind of beat the brakes off them, right? 48-20. Really wasn't close the whole game. Obviously, Josh Allen nuked, went 4 touchdowns, right? With a rushing touchdown, 3 in the air, passed for over 300 yards. So he's definitely going to be a talking point, especially once we jump into the captain's slot here. Talking captains, man, you got Tyreek Hill 16-8, Josh Allen at 16-5, which you don't see too much Josh Allen on a showdown slate as not the most expensive captain. So definitely touch on that. You got Stephon Diggs there at 15-3. And then you got Tua, right? You got Tua at 15K flat in the game where you expect Miami to be playing balls to the walls here and expect them to have to throw the ball a ton here like they did last game if it goes any way like that. Obviously, Jalen Waddle likely going to miss this game. So Tyreek Hill, all the ownership's probably going to focus on him. But then you got cheap guys, right, like Cedric Wilson, Braxton Berrios. Once we get more into the value plays, I think in the flex, that matters more than the captain. But hit on this captain spot. Where are you looking at the captain here tonight?
Yeah, captain's going to be pretty condensed up top. I mean, we got the big boys. You said it, I think, 48-point total. Tyreek Hill, an amazing play on the captain spot. No Waddle. We don't think Waddle's going to be there. We don't think Mostert's going to be there. And all that Tyreek has done the last 2 weeks is get 12 targets, 14 targets before that. Looking back to the last time these two played, only got 5 targets. I think that changes tonight. So Tyreek Hill definitely squarely in play. And then you mentioned it, Josh Allen absolutely nuked this team last time. Only 16-5 tonight. Nades and I have done this show. This is the 18th time this year. We've seen 18-5, 19,000 for captains all year with Josh Allen's legs, with Josh Allen's arm in a must-win game, coming off a 40-burger last time against these two teams. I think Josh Allen is a great play, but naturally ownership will follow that. And then you mentioned it as well. I actually like Tua on the other side as well. I like Tua to hit the bonus tonight. I think they're going to have to throw to beat this Buffalo team. So give me some Tua, and then give me some Devin Achane if Mostert and Waddle do sit as well. All this guy did last week with no Mostert, 26.7 DraftKings points. Going back to week 4, what did he do against that same Buffalo team? Put up 30 DraftKings points. So Achane definitely in play for me. And then the only other one that I would really have interest in would be James Cook on the Buffalo side. He's been slower these last 2 weeks, but man, the 2 weeks before that, he was absolutely lights out. Going to catch passes, going to do all those things that James Cook does. Going home to Miami. So give me some James Cook. That's going to be kind of my player pool for those captain would be those 5. Not really going below that in the captain spot, Nades.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, I do think still comes in as the chalkiest option, even being the most expensive because it is 16-8, right? You could argue him and Josh Allen could be 18-5 to 19,000 in the captain spot here tonight. They're not. It is a big total, 48-point total, right? Miami is 3-point dogs, which obviously leads to the game script likely coming from behind, right? Having to pass more. So I do like Tyreek Hill, but my favorite captain is Josh Allen. Don't typically go in on captain quarterbacks too often here tonight, but I could see a case where you just lock Josh Allen here in the captain spot because it is a must-win game for Buffalo, right? Backs against the wall. If they lose this game, they could potentially miss the playoffs, which is crazy to say. Them missing the playoffs at 10-7 when you got the NFC, some of the teams in the NFC over there that are basically right around 500 going to make the playoffs. So Josh Allen, I think he comes out. You don't need him to get 40 like he got last time. I think if he goes out there and does what he can, he's always that threat, right? They're probably the second best team in the league, and that the old tush push behind obviously the Eagles, who pretty much created that. But Josh Allen himself, he's got the rushing upside. He's got the passing upside here. Quarterbacks beat up Miami pretty good all season long. We got obviously 17 weeks of data to go off of, and Miami ranks bottom third in the league against quarterbacks, opposing QBs for fantasy points. So I really like Josh Allen here. And then I actually really like Stephon Diggs here as well. The thing about the Bills is, right, when the Bills are rolling, they kind of key in on one guy, and it's usually Stephon Diggs. So I really like Stephon Diggs here. He's coming off of 4 down weeks, right, overall. Last time against Miami, 6 for 120 and 3 touchdowns. So I don't expect him to get the hat trick there and touchdowns again tonight. But if he gets you 2, you could see Stephon Diggs, a little explosion game here, backs against the wall for him and Josh Allen. You could see a little 2-4 build Hamwich here. Throw Stephon Diggs up in the captain spot. Throw Josh Allen in the flex and run it back with 4 Miami pieces because you're going to have Miami value, right, with guys like Cedric Wilson, Braxton Berrios, even River Craycraft down there, right, with Jalen Waddle likely missing this game. So really like those 2 a ton. On the Miami side, I think my favorite Miami piece is actually going to be Devin Achane. He carved this team up last game. Not to say last game means a lot, but I mean, even last week, right? He 14 for 107. He's just so explosive. Anytime he touches the ball, he can break it for 80 plus yards for a TD, right? He's been involved in the passing game. He's had at least 3 targets in every game the last 5 weeks, it looks like, with ceiling of 9 targets, 5 targets. He's catching the passes, been involved in the receiving back, and especially with the guy, like even if Mostert's in there, I think he's still fine because I think one of Mostert or Waddle are definitely going to miss. And if one of those misses, if both of them misses, obviously Achane becomes a really good play. But even if only Waddle misses and Mostert's still in there, I think that keeps his ownership in check. And I think they're going to involve a playmaker like Achane, right, with when they lose another playmaker like Jalen Waddle. So I really like Achane quite a bit. So it's pretty much those 3 captains that I'm looking at. I'm going to be a little bit under on Tyreek Hill, which is scary. I just think everyone, especially if Waddle misses, which seems like it's going to happen, everyone's going to force feed Tyreek in their captain spot. I'll be happy to take the upside in Josh Allen, Diggs, and Achane from the captain spot. I guess if you want a lower owned sleeper spot here, Dalton Kincaid, I think, is a risky play here, but it allows you, it's more mid-tier, 9,300. Tight ends beat up this team pretty good. Miami ranks 20th in the NFL against opposing tight ends. I get it. Dawson Knox is back, but Dalton Kincaid's still the guy there. Even last week, you saw him get more involved. Had 7 targets last week, 87 yards, caught 4 of the 7 targets. He's just a big guy, and it's his price point for me. So it's pretty much those 4 and move on for me in the captain spot here. Any additional thoughts for the captain spot?
Yeah, no, I think I'm a little bit different than you and Tyreek. I like Tyreek a lot. I like Josh Allen a lot. Those would be my 2 favorite, but certainly get the stand. And yeah, I'm Diggs, man. What happened to Diggs? I mean, obviously, I don't know what top 5, top 10 receiver, but he's just for whatever reason, ever since they made the offensive coordinator change, just hasn't done it. Can he do it? Absolutely. But I'm gonna I'm not gonna be there tonight, Nate.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly okay. Let's jump into the flex play here. Obviously, it seems like we're on the spend up captains. I have a little bit of interest in Kincaid at that captain spot, which makes it a little bit easier to avoid some of these value guys. But we do have some likely pretty decent value. I would say River Craycraft, right, at 800, I think is a solid value play. Braxton Berrios at 2,600, solid value play. You got Dawson Knox down there at 2K. Jeff Wilson Jr., Durham Smithy. Don't really like those guys a ton, but talk about this Bills defense at 3,800 here. I think that's an interesting talking point. And then obviously you got Jason Sanders and Tyler Bass, 2 pretty solid kickers overall. But Jason Sanders, $5K. He's $1,000 more than Dolphins defense, $1,200 more than the Bills defense. And then same thing, Tyler Bass. I mean, basically $1,000 more than those defenses here. And even in a high point total, especially in a game where you see a lot of passes, right? Any one of these guys can jump a route, take it for 6, and you're kind of swimming, especially at that price point there. So hit on the kickers, hit on the defenses, and then any of these value plays that you're looking at will start.
Yeah, let's touch on the defenses real quick. And anytime there's a high total, we know there's going to be a lot of action going on, a lot of dropbacks, a lot of passes. Obviously, that leads to more sacks, more turnovers, more pick sixes. I've talked about it numerous times on this show. But last year in the Super Bowl, both teams were in the 30s, and I think it was the Chiefs that were in the optimal. Took a Jalen Hurts fumble to the house, and the Chiefs were still optimal, even though they gave up 30 plus points. So I don't mind either one of the defenses in a situation like this. It takes a pick 6 or 2 to be in the optimal. So don't mind either one of these defenses. And then I'll be lower on the kickers tonight just because I do think there's going to be some points scored. You touched on it. My favorite lower price guy, if you will, would be Cedric Wilson at 4,400. Got in the box last weekend. Has seen 5 targets. He's their number 2. They create plays for him down in the red zone, bigger body type of guy. So I definitely don't mind Cedric Wilson down there. On the other side, your boy Khalil Shakir at 5'2". I don't mind him. He seems to be getting a little bit more involved in this offense, much to the chagrin of Stephon Diggs. So I don't mind Shakir down there. And then the other one that I would touch on would be Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox hasn't done much since he's been back, and Kincaid is the guy. So certainly don't mind Kincaid. But at 2K, maybe the chips are on the line. Allen's going to go to his guy Knox, who he has a good rapport with. It's a one-game slate. We talk about it all the time. It's a one-game slate. Anything can happen. Dawson Knox at 2K really opens up a lot. And, could he have, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown? Absolutely. So give me some Dawson Knox at 2K would kind of be my sneaky play of the day, if you will.
Yeah, no, I like that. Just looking at snaps last week, because I believe Waddle was out last week. Correct me if I'm wrong, or got hurt early. Yeah, so I'm looking at the snaps from last weekend. Cedric Wilson played 92% of the snaps. He's 4,400, so I really like Cedric Wilson there. I'm in lockstep, arm in arm with you. Ownership's definitely going to follow. I mean, he's going to probably be 50+% owned because everyone can see those same numbers I can. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But I do like that. Braxton Berrios, interesting enough, almost played 50% of the snaps. I'm seeing sub 10% ownership on him at 2,600. So I don't hate a little pivot, man. I mean, Cedric Wilson, 4,400, jumping down to Braxton Berrios, leaving that little about 1,500 or so on the table. I don't hate that, right? I mean, they're both playing the snaps. Obviously, Cedric Wilson's got the snaps there. But Berrios, I mean, for cheaper, wide receiver 3, still played 47% of the snaps last week with no Jalen Waddle. So I don't hate that at his price point. I think that's good. Interesting note, Trent Sherfield. Last week, he played 28% of the snaps. I don't know if that was a fluke or what, but he's $200. Do you have any take in a high total, right? New offensive coordinator there. I mean, $200 guy playing 30% of the snaps or so. I don't hate it in a spot where you want to pay up for Josh Allen captain. You want to pay up for Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs captain for myself. What's your take on a guy like Trent Sherfield at $200?
Yeah, I mean at $200, and you just alluded to it, a guy that's going to be on the field, not a whole lot, but at least some. And if something happens to Shakir, he's playing. We saw him with 3 targets last week. Hey, could he get another 3 or 4? Yeah, absolutely. So don't mind him if you had to. I don't think I'll need to get there, but that would kind of be down in that range. Just looking at everybody, you got Uncle Lenny coming back. He's $200, but we saw, the way they utilized him, and I think it was the only game that he was active this year was against those Chargers. So Uncle Lenny would be down there as well. I don't think I'll get to those $200 guys. I was just thinking, just building some teams while you were talking. I think I could build some pretty strong teams without those guys.
Yeah, I don't love punting down here, especially being a 3 max, 5 max player. Typically, I don't MME outside that main 20 max $3 contest. there. So I don't hate it, but a guy like Trent Sherfield, I think if people are punting, they're going to go with a guy like River Craycraft, just especially because obviously Miami's a little bit shorter handed, right? Waddle's going to miss this. And it's Trent Sherfield last week actually outsnapped Craycraft. Obviously, they're different teams, different scenarios, but you save a little bit of money. So I do like that. I don't hate that. And then I'm with you. Cedric Wilson, I really like. Barrios, I really like. I don't really like Dusty Lat Murray or Dawson Knox, Ty Johnson. I don't really like any of these value plays outside of Trent Sherfield from the Bills side. I'm not on Uncle Lenny, right? Playoff Lenny, whatever you want to say. Hardy, not on that. I mean, Hardy really lost his role. Tupac Shakur last week played, 82% of the snaps. So, I mean, it's pretty tough for a guy like Hardy who has a pretty similar kind of role and skill set that Tupac does. That I just don't think you want to save with any of these value Buffalo guys outside Trent Sherfield would be my favorite guy. If you need the salary, right? $200, we've seen it on these showdown slates. He catches a pass for 30 yards, right? Gets you 4 or 5 DraftKings points. That could be enough, right? In this spot when Tyreek Hill goes off for 30, Josh Allen goes 40, right? Stephon Diggs goes for 25. These high-priced guys, Devin Achane goes for 25, right? All these guys up there that allow you need those plays. So I don't hate that. Kickers, I have a little bit more interest in Jason Sanders. Just looking at his season, I mean, just since week 11, I mean, 11, 12, 10, 9, 12, 22, 7. I mean, he hasn't scored under 7. Basically, he hasn't scored under 10 DraftKings points since week 9. So Miami definitely can stall out here. I don't hate Jason Sanders at 5K. I definitely prefer him over Bass. I just think, obviously, with Josh Allen, they're just more likely to go for it on a little shorter yardage with the tush push with the Josh Allen piece than settle for field goals. So I do like Jason Sanders over Tyler Bass here tonight. And then I don't mind these defenses, like you said, right? High point total. The ball is going to be going through the air a lot, I think. And any of these guys can jump a route, take it for 6. And you're kind of swimming at that value play there. So I think we broke it down pretty good here. Any final takes on terms of roster construction in this one, Ham?
Yeah, no, like I said, I think we talked about it pretty good. Hoping for a good game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Obviously, you're going to want to get the guys that do the best in there, and then find those values. We mentioned a couple $200 guys that you like. I'm a little bit higher on Knox than you are. So yeah, so looking forward to it. Appreciate everybody tuning in this season. Really enjoyed doing the show, and hopefully we're back next year.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everyone that's tuned in all season long. Again, if you guys haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton here. And PGA kicked off this past week. Actually, it's ending today. We got a couple sweats in the Discord. And we do have PGA only packages over at SHIPIT.com if you're interested in those. But I do highly suggest just getting in for all sports package. You get obviously PGA included. We have an amazing PGA team over here, amazing tools, content, projections, everything like we have for every other sport, NBA, NHL, obviously NFL playoffs coming around here. MLB will be here before shortly. We know it, how much you and I will be doing a lot of shows, I'm sure, again, for MLB, which is always fun. But no, it's been a pleasure doing these shows, these Sunday night breakdowns. I think we had a pretty solid season. So looking to keep that rolling here tonight. Keep it rolling throughout the playoffs. Obviously, we won't be doing these shows, but we'll have you covered still right here on this YouTube channel here. So thanks so much to everyone all season long for the support. How much it's been a pleasure, man, doing these shows for 18 weeks straight here for the NFL season. Looking to round it out with another shipper here tonight. So it's been a pleasure, man. Good luck to everyone today in their contest. Hopefully your week 18 is going well. There's a lot of variance in week 18. So hopefully you're on the right side of the variance, and hopefully you're winning a lot of money and making that little checkbook fatter after it gets drained pretty good for the holiday season. So for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. Let's ship it.